Nani's new film Dasara is coming soon, and here we have an interview of him with Baradwaj Rangan. It's always great, so let's have a look. If you haven't seen the original, I'll put the link in the description. You can check it out.
Hello, natural star Nani, who's no longer natural star Nani. Welcome to Galata Plus.
Natural, right?
Why you don't want that title anymore?
I don't know. I think I don't know. I'm not
It
sure.
just says Nani. Here,
Nani, right.
Yeah.
I never noticed it is
posters.
there or not there also. Yeah.
Yeah. So-
Depends on each filmmaker if they want to. Yeah.
But if you have a title,
Okay.
it should be there, no? Like every time.
It was never for me, sir. It was what they call
The fans liked it.
Yeah, they liked it,
Yeah.
and someone who wanted that to come onto the screen, the directors, then they
Right.
used to go ahead
Right.
with it, and then there are a few like Jesse. I didn't want to have it because no point you're showing a guy who's like really struggling to do something, and then you call him
Natural star with Jersey.
yeah.
Yeah. But speaking of Jersey and
Made sense.
also of Shehzada, they're remakes of highly successful Telugu films. See, like the original Telugu films, when they released in theaters, Bahubali, RRR, Pushpa, they're doing blockbuster business. But the remakes, they're not working. The Ala Vaikunthapurumlo remake, which was Shehzada, or the Jersey remake, which you didn't want to do again, and which Shahid Kapoor did, they didn't work. Some people say that it's because
I wonder
those
what
movies
he'll
have been
answer.
dubbed and kind of there. But even Bahubali, RRR, and all the pirated copies floating around, people are downloading and torrenting and all that kind of stuff. So what do you think explains the fact that, is it a language thing? What is it?
I think it's more to do with a lot of people have watched the original, and also general the interest that it's been there out already, and it's not something which we're exploring on the day one. You a lot of times with the big films, why are the first day morning shows have that heavy rush and not the second day or third day? Just because people are excited to be the first one to know if it's a good film or not. And the
Okay.
remakes takes that away. And now in today's times where
Makes sense.
the film is already available on OTT, available on YouTube, when you know you're not going to break the news to the world, then I think the general excitement is a little
That makes sense.
low.
That adds to the point I made in a video about hype. It's all about hype. If you want to make that big numbers at the box office, your film needs to have a hype. Doesn't matter how you do it, it needs to have that.
When it's a remake.
Oh, that's an excellent explanation.
And
You really studied this.
no, that's what I think. So, and also I think people have now access to films, and particularly when they hear that see Jersey kind of content. Now I watched Jersey, the Hindi version,
And it really worked very well.
yeah. And I think the soul is intact.
Yeah.
And I think they performed so well.
Yeah.
And it's equally brilliantly made film in Hindi also. It's not that there's something missing.
Yeah.
It's just that it's not the original. Original because it's the same
Right.
filmmaker, but people know that it is, it's a remake of a film. So I think that itself is, the credit is only half of what. So also at the same time, I think there are many reasons, I'm sure, but I think one of the most important reason is what I've said.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. I never thought of that, because people want to be the first to check out a
Yeah,
film, but
yeah,
now they're not able to
100%.
do that.
Yeah.
Which is why the solution
The
may
early
be
morning shows, you see that demand. They want to call everyone and tell if it is good, bad, or terrible.
Yeah.
So with a remake, the excitement. And before the remakes used to work, the days when remakes used to work, then there was no much of communication about how it did in the original, how
Right.
the film is. The
Yeah.
scenes are not available on YouTube. There was no YouTube. And so it was still, the excitement was still alive.
Yeah.
But now I think that is going away. So
I think more than YouTube, I think OTT changed a lot of things.
Yeah.
Which is why the solution may be to do what Dasara is doing, which is to kind of make this a pan-Indian, release it everywhere at the same
language,
time.
wherever you think it will work, might as well release the original.
Right.
And before, what it used to be was
The money also, right? Because you get a lot of money if you sell the remake rights. So you don't do the dubbing, it will cost you. So instead do the get remake rights, you get a lot of money for that.
you never released in other languages. You sold remake rights because you thought
Yeah.
you were from this particular language and you will not be watched there, and they can put their own star there and they can remake the film. Now, after these many examples of people watching film from wherever it is, if they like the film, then we have Bahubali, Pushpa, KGF, Kantar. These many films have proved very clearly that
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Don't try. You know, just make that great film, which will have that impact, and then I think everyone will watch it. It's not like they don't want to watch you or
Right.
anything. Yeah.
And I think that credit for this goes to somebody from the Telugu film industry, Mr. S.S.
Yeah,
Rajamouli.
100%.
I think he
Undoubtedly.
pretty much, established his format. Just bombard all the languages
100%.
and then
100%.
make it seem like a fresh film everywhere.
Yeah.
And then so that, there's no chance of missing out the excitement.
He changed the whole dynamics
Landscape.
of
Yeah, he's
Indian
game
cinema.
changer. Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Now we all might be like taking it for granted. Like he's around, we can see him, we can talk to him. So he might be looking pretty normal, but I think 50 years from now they'll be seeing his statues in all the movie complex, film chamber, and all that is what I feel. Yeah.
Yeah.
He changed everything, the way things work.
Of
here,
course,
so.
why not?
Talking of change, Nani, I kind of apologize if this is going to be a slightly brutal question, but I want to hear this from an actor. The dynamics have changed so much that, an actor has to position himself or herself as somebody that people want to see in a theater, as opposed to, like, the minute I hear the word Nani or this is a Nani film, I should mentally think, okay, I want to go to the theater to see this movie.
Correct.
Because there are other stars where my mind is automatically going to say, okay, this film, I'll probably watch it on OTT, whatever it is.
Correct.
That's the natural what's happening now. How do you ensure that you remain that theater star in a world of so many people having migrated
There's
to...
nothing we can ensure, sir. There will be a film which they'll want to watch in theater. There will be a film they want to watch.
Right.
Wait and watch it. And it depends on how much they love the teaser, how much they love the trailer, how the promotion activities or the genre of the film. There are 100 factors. There is no guarantee. There's not just because they love this actor. There's no guarantee that every film they'll say that I'll go watch in theater. There's no guarantee. Even with the superstar films, if they don't like the teaser, they'll wait for it to come on OTT. So then there's no point in overanalyzing this also, because it's
I was not a big fan of the trailer, but I'll still watch it in
very
theaters.
simple. What is a theater film? Which excites you so much that you can't wait till it comes on OTT is a theater film. Simple. Anything you think is worth
I like his
waiting,
definitions.
then you'll watch it on OTT.
In your opinion, what is a theater film?
What's a theater film? Theater film is which promises a great experience with community watching.
Right.
A film which promises you that it won't be same wherever you watch it. Right. Which promises you that is an experience you need to enjoy in the theater.
So tell me why Dasara is a theater film.
Because Dasara, I feel, is a film where there are moments in the film which you want to scream or you want to root for that character, or you want someone to join your reaction. You won't do that if you're watching it alone. So Dasara is absolutely theater film, and also for me, I'm a big fan of commercial films. But in the last decade or so, sometime even before that, at one point commercial cinema became about having few elements in it, like looking very colorful, and if there's no story, there's just back-to-back jokes and fights and songs, also were called full commercial cinema. Commercial cinema I loved used to be something which had this full story going on, and then relatable emotion, and then you cry along with them, you laugh along with them, and then you'll also whistle when there is action episode. So the relatability went away. Everybody, there are so many films, and I obviously can't take names, but so at that point I thought, okay,
I like that he's aware of all this, and that really makes him stand out.
It's a commercial cinema, or like now there's a different meaning to it. But I'm glad every year something again new comes up, something now, like for example, Vikram.
Right.
Yeah.
Very stylishly, nicely made film. It is not trying to say that this is enough for you. You wanted a commercial, you want to take it. No, it was a very well-made film. There's a very interesting screenplay, unique screenplay, and then And then it made it. It's also the theater film.
Yeah, yeah.
You get all those highs.
Yeah, it did well, very well
Very well,
in the
extremely
Telugu
well.
speaking states as well.
Yeah, and that was, and then RRR. You know,
Which did very well in Tamil Nadu,
It's
Hindi,
everywhere.
everywhere. It just
Because
was,
there's emotion. There's solid
overseas-
emotion. You feel their emotion. You feel for them.
Yeah.
And then there is this KGF from Canada. And you know the visual filmmaking. It took it to some other level. The editing style and all that. It was like, this has to be watched on big screen. You thought.
That's why I love BR interviews, man. You bring out so much from the person that you'll not see anywhere on any other interview. Because it's all about your performance, your this, how you do that, this is what you want.
And then, so even Dasra also has that strong element where in between this moments of the theater moments we can call, there is a strong story happening. The people are normal people, and it's not like every scene is just logiclessly, something. It is Dasra. There are scenes which feel very almost like very basic. The guy is very weak in few scenes and very flawed, very normal, not black or white. And then there's a moment where it'll all come together, and he has to rise to the occasion. So those kind of films are my kind of commercials. I would love to see a film like that in theater.
Lovely. Look forward to this, and something tells me this kind of has been planned with a possible sequel in mind. Is that a right assumption?
No, not really. Not really.
Oh,
Nothing.
thank God.
No. I'm sure now what happens is once it's a huge, if the audience make it a huge blockbuster, I can't give a guarantee that there won't be a new thought happening in Srikanth's head. But when we started off, it's never meant to be a
one-off.
Yeah.
It's
So
nice.
speaking of Srikanth Odella, the director of the movie, he was assistant costume designer in Sukumar's
He's
unit.
not costume designer. He's the AD,
He's the
assistant director, who takes care of costume continuity.
Okay, continuity, costume
okay.
continuity. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry, I got that wrong.
Yeah.
Now, I heard, because he's a newcomer and because this movie was such a big scale, that he actually shot a part of the film to show that he's capable of handling this.
Yeah.
Can you talk about
Okay,
that
that's
bit?
interesting.
So no, he was not. I told him to do that, and after I heard the script, I loved this boy's honesty, and he's not very good at narration. He's from this place called Godarkani. That is the slang of the film. That is where this whole film is also set and all that. And the moment I heard him narrating the script, I knew that this script cannot be written in between four walls. It is not something you sit with four writers and write. Let's now have a villain. It's not that film. Every character in his script is someone whom he would have been with or seen closely. So those kind of details. And I was like completely mesmerized. I was lost in his world with his bad narration skills. It is adorable to see someone who's not trying to impress you. So particularly when day in, day out we listen to the script and somebody is trying to say constantly that this scene, sir, so you know that little one thing they'll give you to feel that okay.
They want like totally
yeah. So it is really adorable that this guy who's a debutant who is coming to narrate, and this could make his career if things fall in place, but absolutely no extra pressure. But he just wanted to tell a story honestly, and he said that. And I could feel it and I enjoyed it. I initially told him 1.5 hours is good enough. And he said good. And then he went on and on. He doesn't know what's 1.5 hours. He narrated for 4 hours. And then I was also not looking at time, not looking at phone. I was like so happy with it. And then I know it's going to be a big film. It's going to cost a lot. It's going to be a 30 crore film. So it's a debutant. How do we okay, then, but I just wanted to see, does he have the eye for it? He has the thought, I understand. He's seeing it in his
That's amazing. I love his maturity.
head, but does he have that to get that out?
Can he execute?
Can he execute it? Then I said, I'll give you a certain amount of money. Very little.
That is your money.
No, I said that, but then the producers who sent him only paid. Because I told them, then we need to check him, and then I said, I'll give you some money. Very small amount. Lesser than what it costs to do some basic short film. Okay. Take any actors, newcomers, who could be your friends also. 2 scenes I will select from this entire script. go to any village, however, whatever you have, the basic equipment, just shoot that. Put any reference score, background scores from any film, which you think will suit this mood. So I understand what sound you're looking at also. Then I chose
Okay.
two scenes, which are very simple scenes. One scene where the backdrop is just him and his grandmother.
That is the hero and the
the Nani
Okay.
and his grandmother talking. This can
This is so interesting.
be shot anywhere. He can just make them sit in this in front of a hut and make them talk. But it is a scene where which needs a certain emotional depth to it. So I would understand how he'll handle the emotion part of it. And there's a scene where it's a lead to a big decision of how this Dharani, changes his track from one point to one point.
I feel like we may get spoilers for this film.
And I said, do that because that needs adrenaline. That needs some energy in it. It's not the emotion. It's the. So these two scenes I said, and then I just left it. And
So you chose one relatively quiet scene and one
boom.
Full of energy.
So then he went, he shot it, he came back, and I still remember I was leaving to the airport for some shoot. On the way at the Jubilee checkpost, he said, "And I'll get into your car on the way to the airport. You drop me wherever. This is all." I said, "What do you mean drop me?" Then I said, "No, the other car is coming from production to pick me up." And I said, "I'll come back and see." No, I want you to watch it. Then he came into the car, and then he showed it to me on one old laptop. He played that, and I thought a lot of experienced director with that budget can't pull this off. It's impossible, and he absolutely cracked it.
That says it a lot.
Now I can actually emotionally, if I play those two scenes from Dasara, which are actually performed by actors, shot well, big setup, all that, and we play those two scenes, the emotional impact of both is same.
Right.
As absolutely same. So
Wow. I would love to see that after the film.
that is when I told him in the car, we're doing this film, Srikanth. You just get back and start working on this.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's a very nice story.
Yeah.
And it also shows how I'm glad you brought up that point because a lot of people are good narrators, but they don't know how to think. This is a great way to kind of
how do we understand, particularly when it's first, and also because I was very confident on this boy. I didn't want to let him I knew this guy will become something, but again at the same time somebody else is going to put a big money on it. So it's also then because he's a debutant. So all that responsibility comes on to me to safeguard that too. So we need to have that little trial ball so that we're all clear and go all in.
Right. Is this your most macho role so far?
No, I don't think so.
Because the teaser or trailer has you with that knife and all that.
It comes out of very strong emotion in the film because it's not me being a hero.
Okay.
In that particular scene, when you watch the film, it's absolute adrenaline. Theater will go bonkers, is what I feel, because of the emotional drive towards that scene.
Yeah.
And that is the beginning of a much more explosive episode. So, and that comes from a space where we're not trying to. When you're watching the film, it will not feel like you.
I'm just trying to imagining myself watching the film and thinking what's happening.
Trying to show a very powerful man. No. You will see a guy who's just going all out with his last drop of energy. So I thought that's a very interesting space. So it's more than macho. This I will call it more as this is the rawest me in any of my films.
Okay.
Rawest.
Yeah.
In what way?
Just the general characterization and from the costumes to the body language to the diction to the things I do in the film, it's the most raw, not macho. Actually, I'm for most of the film I'm a very weak guy.
Yeah. So how do you do this, Nani? Like when you are faced with a character that you're not in real life.
Yeah.
Let's take a Ninukori. That's a relatively urban, space.
Correct.
I'm not saying it. Of course, you need preparation, acting, all that.
Yeah.
But then there are other characters like, with Asra or Shyam Singh Roy, where you're playing a character maybe from a completely different background, whether within Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, or some Bengal, whatever. What do you do to kind of Do you watch Bengali movies? So how do you?
I feel 90% of uh, the understanding happens from the script itself.
Okay.
See, we all watch a lot of films, right?
Right.
So there are so many visuals. You will not suddenly play a Bengali guy like a Tamil guy. You know general body language or general mood of how the films are, how the people are.
Right.
So that little information is enough. For me at least, I don't like really go see the man with someone, see the no, nothing. But within how the script is written, each line I feel have a tempo of its own in each scene. When you're reading it itself, you know how this guy is looking at it, like director,
Yeah.
the film he wants to make. I always feel when you try to be the vision he is looking at, it all looks like one piece.
Yeah.
If you're trying to do your own in each shot, then one you take instruction from him and try to create that, and one you try to do your own, then it'll all look patchy. Is what I feel. So for me, playing this role was Srikanth is from that area.
So
And
all
I
the
have seen
references-
his whole entire team is from that area, and the slang is very difficult slang to crack because it's rural Telangana. So yeah, with Shyam Singh Roy, the kind of work they've done, and they've showed me some pictures and stuff like that. And then in the script itself, there is a certain what kind of a guy is Shyam? That was clear in the. So that kind of a guy demands a certain body language. So 90% of it, I think, is the script and how clear the director is, and then 10% your knowledge, your information, how you understand it, how you play it. I think that's how things fall.
Right. Two films of yours, V and
Nice.
Tak Jagdish, they went directly to OTT, and there was this whole let's boycott Nani and send him away. and like
yeah, that happened.
so
With distributors and in that one area, because one of their film was releasing, the distributor said, Sunil, who is also very close to me, his film was releasing at the same weekend when they decided to put my OTT release on, and so the distributors went on a strike. Yeah.
so that's all. There's no after effects of that.
There won't be also.
Okay.
It was just that instant.
It's a commercial business decision purely.
See, end of the day, they also understand, I think, but they were like, see, and we all know once this lockdown thing is over, we all know we'll all come back to
Yeah.
theaters. Theaters are not going anywhere. It's where does my responsibility start from? My responsibility doesn't start from theaters. My responsibility starts from my producers, then distributors, then the exhibitors, right? These are the people at stake, right? If you are asking me, if you're going to put a press meet and ask me, why are you not responsible towards us? If I'm not responsible towards my producers, then I can never be responsible towards you. So it is very simple thing. It's a straight
I love his maturity. Yeah. He's understanding everything. He's so sorted in his mind. There's no vagueness or he's unsure. No, he's totally,
logic.
knows
So
everything.
somebody put in money and he needs to survive, and this has to go on so that we are all there to feed cinemas when they're open. Right. So it was a very simple thing, but I know it was a very instant reaction from their side also. Then I've told them also in one of the press meetings, I said I was always on your side. The theaters are. I can't imagine not seeing my films in theater. That's always the thing. But I have to put them before me or before my wishes. Or if there is a choice of theater, there is no way ever in life I'll go for a direct OTT release.
Right.
This has to come to theater. Yeah.
What about this hit universe? Everybody's doing universes. Yash Raj is doing a spy universe. Lokesh is doing his Lokesh cinematic universe. Hit was supposed to be a kind of a universe. Hit 1 happened. Hit 2 happened.
Yeah.
Is there a hit 3 that's...
Hit 2 ending has that hit 3 lead, but hit 3 will be there, but I don't know when it's going to be.
And the universe is basically going to be...
It's HIT.
It's like...
It's Homicide Intervention Team.
And they're going to be different places.
Yeah, different places and
solving different things.
Different things, and it's basically one department. So there are different cops in the same department, and the department thing is about it solving the murder cases, right? And
Like CID.
it keeps getting bigger and bigger. The hit 2 is much bigger than 1. Hit 3 is going to be much bigger than hit 2. So we are trying to make it into a small Avengers kind of a thing where in 3 or 4 or 5 there are more than one who are coming together to solve a bigger crime. So And also it'll be that I thought initially when we started off, we thought HIT and then one cop and then what his case. Then I realized if it's one actor, then we have to wait for his date. So let us do, one,
That's genius.
each part, there's a different cop coming in. It's once it is HIT Telangana, HIT Andhra. So again, something will change. Some other state cop will come here. So then we can go. So there, I thought it was a very interesting
It
setup.
is, and it's like
and both the films work luckily. So there's a lot of hype for the part 3. So yeah,
you're waiting for a script to develop, basically.
yeah, that's also there. But also the director started his next film with Venkatesh Garu. It's called Sayandav. So I also have my few commitments. So I said we'll take our time.
It'll take its time. After these two films, that is Tak Jagdish and V, were you a little nervous when Shyam Singh Roy released in theaters? Simply because with theater, you have this one thing that you have to face the box office.
Yeah.
You have to face the audience's verdict, which in OTT you're protected from.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when a movie is coming like that, again, after like a long time and after 2 movies have been, what was the reaction?
I was never nervous, actually, frankly speaking. I'm genuinely telling you this. Because how my career was, I've never climbed 2 steps at a time. Each film was 1 step at a time. So I've started with Ashtasama, then one more film, one more film, one more film, one more film, one more. So I always thought, even if let's say we and Tuck did something or they didn't work or whatever, even if I fall, I'll fall 1 step only, is what my strong belief is. And I was not worried about it. I'm just trying to put it in words now that you asked me that question. But I somehow, it never felt like, oh, I'm in danger or it's going to. I never felt
danger, but
no,
you know what I mean. Yeah.
Oh, like will it affect the immediate projects or anything? I never felt it. In fact, I was very confident
He's so sorted, man.
Shyam will open very big. And at that time, actually, Shyam, faced a lot of issues with the theaters were shutting down. There was this problem with the tickets and all that. There was a lot of things going on in the state. But even then, Shyam did open very well. So, and you feel if you're constantly in touch with the reality and people around you, and you can see their love on social media or wherever in whatever you release. So I don't think there is much of doubt in anything. You'll understand when you do a good film. They're always on your side. It's a couple of films releasing in OTT and not getting a favorable reaction doesn't change anything.
Yeah. You've made action films. You also made non-action character-driven films. Is there a Nani that you have generally discovered that the audience prefers?
No, there are different instances where they gave me that confidence that like for example, they loved me doing fun films where like
Middle Class Abbai.
Middle Class Abbai is again a mix of let's put Middle Class Abbai in a commercial cinema.
Right.
There's Pillars Jamin there's Bale Bale Magadwe, there is Ala Amar Line. These are just fun, breezy film, blockbusters, all of them. And then I've tried my handed commercial cinema where it's just main local MCA blockbusters. And then I thought, okay, no. After this, they kept there are in media the reviewers and a lot of people started saying that Nani only does routine films, MCA is routine, main local is routine. That's what they started saying. Then I know those are the films which will, as an actor, it will give you a mark. It will give you everything. And to do a film like Jersey, I need all those films. Those are the pillars where Jersey is standing on. Otherwise, we couldn't have pulled off Jersey without that kind of.
Makes
so
sense.
When I did Jersey worked big time. So Jersey is absolutely opposite of what these films were.
Right.
And then there is Shyam Singh Roy. Then there was Evade Subramaniam. There was Nenu Kori. So in every genre,
Gang Leader was so good.
I do have films which really, really worked and made me feel like they love me, this way. So there is no one particular thing. I think that this is what they really love.
I think Jersey, as taken as a whole film, I mean, there are a lot of films you've done well, but as a whole, in my opinion, that's your finest performance. Do you have a preference as well? Like any film that you think you've done really well? I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I think so far the films I have done, I think Jersey, Sham, Ante, are my last three are like my
Right.
the
Why do you
bestest
think
ones.
Ante didn't do that well? I mean, like, what happened? I
Simple
mean,
logic, simple logic. Everyone till today, nobody, not a single person have said that I didn't like the film. All of them said I like the film. It's too long.
oh, long. Okay.
Yeah, that's all. That's
Okay.
all. That's the only complaint on the film. I haven't heard another complaint. As an actor,
Yeah, I would
you
say the
want
same.
or you don't want, you are becoming a name, right? There is an image attached to it.
You have become a.
No,
What do you mean
yeah.
you are
So
becoming?
no, I meant to say, like, not that you wanted it. You're actually trying out different films. You're playing a Jersey, but even Jersey does glorify Arjun. There is a satisfaction to them. Oh, Nani did this. I also saw that one particular thing where now 15 years I'm there. I've done these films. I've played Shyam Singh Roy. I've did that little husband lift. Now suddenly me being Sundar and unable to open my mouth in front of my dad, so it didn't work with few people. Even though it was all
Hmm.
believable, it was
Yeah.
done properly. I was just being this actor playing Sundar. I've seen comments that which says that we've seen your Sham, we've seen your that. No, it was not. It was we were unable to. What was the whole thing about these two families? You would have loved the same thing with a newcomer, maybe. But
Maybe.
there is a baggage of you then an actor who has this body of work, coming and playing something very simple. And the thing is, when they come into the cinema, they'll expect you to be when you're the lead, you're there throughout. Ante didn't follow that format.
Yeah.
Ante dwells in the childhood portions. Ante goes with their parents.
Yeah.
Ante thinks about what mother is thinking, father, and they'll have their own scenes. So once in a while, me and Nazriya will be coming into the film. So when you're going to the film as a star film or something,
That makes
then
sense.
for you have no patience to wait till they come back into the scene. But
Maybe
Ante
it should
didn't
have
deal the
been an
film,
OTT
film like that.
release.
Ante dealt like it. We have a story. Let us tell you that story.
Yeah.
It could be any length or it could be whatever time. Let's be honest to all the characters and cover all the arcs. So I think that didn't work.
So I mean this in a good way, but I think what you're trying to say is that you've reached a level of stardom where people kind of expect a little more from you than occasional.
No,
Like,
they expect these unique new films where I don't go behind like being a playing a match.
I'm not
Okay?
talking about
Yeah,
necessarily mass commercial star.
yeah, but they
yeah,
expect a little more of me being there.
yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
They do.
I'm sure there are lots.
That's very
Every film
interesting.
teaches you something.
And I love the fact that he understands all of this. It's not like he's confused. Why is my film not working? He knows why it didn't work. He's clear. He's like, he knows everything. I love that.
Whether it goes right, it teaches you something. If it goes wrong, it teaches you something. Can you tell me one or two films that have taught Nani the biggest lessons, whether it's success
Interesting.
or failure or whatever it is,
Definitely, Ante.
because of the reasons you just explained?
Yeah, it's that, and I've realized there are films we need to. I'm trying to. I love that film as an audience, but I was not looking at myself in that film with I've understood how I look at myself and how the audience look at me is very different. So sometimes because I keep telling that like I'm also an audience, I'm like I try to make us into one group. What I like our audience is also like, but when it comes to your own, there is a difference. That's one thing. That little bit of you want to be right is not right always.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? like this film we are trying to do something absolutely right, and let's do it completely right according to what we're thinking in the head is very different from what exactly is needed for the film. So sometimes you have to be a little more detached with the film and take few decisions, and so Ante definitely taught me that. And
Just name one more film, like an older film.
we and Tak Jagdish obviously for the experience they taught me a lot because they irony is I've done all kinds of films, and I thought we and Tak Jagdish are for theater. I always got good reviews from everywhere. The earlier films, Jersey and Gang Leader also got very good reviews. Jersey I've done and all. Then I thought, now let me do proper theater film where it's for the theater energy. And irony is that both of them went and landed in the
OTTs.
OTTs. Now there was this film called MCA, which is a blockbuster, and which got much worse reviews than V and Tag Jagdish. But now I can never claim V and Tag Jagdish would have worked or anything like that because I'll never have a proof. It never came in theater, and MCA will always be the record will be there that it was a blockbuster. So yeah, I've learned a lot from that, and each film in some or
like
the other ways it teaching me something. So yeah.
Finally, Nani, how have you evolved as an actor? I mean, you just said 15 years, right? It's like something like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Nani of old is not the Nani of today.
Yeah,
There are what you thought of acting back then is not what you think
Not
of
at all, not
acting.
at all,
What
yeah.
was your original definition of acting, and what is it now?
I thought making the scene work is acting. I have a much more different opinion about it. It's not that simple. It's absolutely not that simple. Initially, when I started off, I used to think that how do we make this? No, let's say the entertaining scene. How do we make this more entertaining? I look at an emotional scene. How do we make this more emotional? It used to be like that. How can we make the impact a little more? Was the only thing about each scene. Now I think I'm in a space where I cannot see any scene as a scene. It's all one piece now. It's
It's a part of the movie, you mean?
part of the film.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I can't separate the scenes and do whatever. I cannot increase the impact of any scene unless knowing the overall impact is in one flow now, right now. So now the understanding of it is completely different, and now I don't think by uh, separate about any film. Now one film is it's just one thing for me now. Any decision will be for overall. It won't be for separate set pieces. Yeah.
Right. Actually, it's very funny that you says that because before when I was waiting for this interview, I was having a chat with one member of your team, and he was telling me about how that continuity aspect of films is going to soon go away because people want a punch in at every moment.
But again, it'll never go away because it'll become pacier. It'll never go away because unless there is a continuity, you will not want to watch the whole thing completely.
Yeah.
You can see start seeing bits and pieces. Then it's not a win when it comes to cinema. Cinema has to be completely watched.
Right.
But because of the general attention, lesser attention span because of reels, because of this Instagram, TikTok, social media, that is and all everything you swipe continuously, right? You need pace. You need it to be speed. You can't anything which can be said in 1 minute. 10 years back, even if you say it in 4 minutes very nicely, then they used to say how poetic, how aesthetically done and all. Now, I don't think there is time for that. Yeah.
So even if it is a talk between like you just said earlier, between a grandmother and her grandson, it has to
you
be.
need to know which is holding their interest and which is not.
So you have to.
Yeah, don't address the whole thing, but address what needs to be addressed. Yeah.
It's a bit of a pity, actually.
Actually, that's what I was saying. I was with the same guy. I was also talking the same topic. I was saying, then we'll never be able to tell stories.
Yeah.
Then it'll always be about. It'll become a.
It's like a greatest hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it'll become a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just like turn that side, this side, and then shoot somebody. Yeah. But I genuinely feel it's all a phase. It'll all after reaching its peak point, then it'll again things start changing, or we will find a new way of telling stories in equally impactfully like before. So I think there's no point in being stuck about what is not there now, what was there.
Yeah.
I think we all learn and move on, and we adapt, and we do things.
Yeah, and actually we have adapted because, like today I saw a movie that said censor certificate said 2 hours 45 minutes, and I was like, oh my god, and I'm a guy who loves watching movies,
Exactly, and we unknowingly will.
It happens with me also. Sometimes looking at the time, I'm like, can I watch the other shit, the shorter one? And then the shorter one also feels like too much. Let's just watch a 10-minute YouTube video. Let's just watch 1 minute, reel.
We're also so now it's high time we don't see the Gen Z or the audience as separately.
Yeah.
We're slowly becoming part. Now it's high time we deliver something they all love.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope people love Dasra, thank you so much, Nani.
Thank you
Pleasure
so much.
talking
It's
to all of
always
you.
a pleasure.
All right, that was a really wonderful interview. Again, I love how sorted and clear-minded and focused Nani is. You know, he knows what's happening, what to do, the process, everything. He's just clear. I just love that. And I think having that in your life just makes it much easier. You know, instead of having stress over 10 things and being unsure of you don't know what's happening around you. So that's really great. Thing he has. And really looking forward to Dasara, man. It's coming on 30th, same day as Bola. Now I don't know. It will be released in Hindi. I don't know which will play here. I hope if the Telugu version has subtitles, I'll watch that. Otherwise, I'll just watch the Hindi one because there's no other option. Many big releases on 30th. But what do you think? Let me in the comments below. Until then, you can check out this interview next. If you like this, like, share, and I'll see you next time.